questions, and you guys need to enlighten me about the topic.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like all of us are amateurs, to be honest. But like it's
Mm.
good to share what we know, and we can like go from there, right? Okay. We're live, guys.
Hi. Good evening from.
All right.
Good evening from Berlin.
Wait,
We're
what did you
like a
say?
new channel. I said good. She said good evening from Singapore. Good evening from Berlin. It's like a correspondence, like international
Good
news
morning
channel.
from wherever I am, the US. Okay. So, should we start, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jenny, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So, our topic of today's podcast is about sustainability in fashion. I personally, I mean, I don't really know a lot of like in greater detail about this topic, honestly. But this is why I would actually like to know more, especially from you two, about what is actually sustainability in fashion. I know that for sure that fashion industry is actually the second largest contributor of the like environmental pollution after the oil and gas industry. And actually, we know that most of the textiles end up in landfills. It's actually every year, and it's actually causing a further damages to the environment. So, I mean, uh, based on this knowledge, can you guys actually explain more why is the sustainability in fashion is actually important to us? Uh, can one of you actually share a little bit more about this um, topic?
You wanna give your okay, Chiquita first. Chiquita,
Yeah,
I feel like
more
she's
about.
quite
Me.
experienced in this.
Experience. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, fashion is really a very important part of our lives. I mean,
Obviously, yeah.
obviously, I mean, we need it for, yeah, I mean, just to, like either it's to make yourself look good, or there's also this
Feel
thing
good,
about,
right?
Sure.
yeah, feel good, retail therapy even, and yeah, we are still living in this world where we are still kind of judged by the way we dress. But anyway, so sustainability in fashion, I think I think it's really important for us to make a change now, because we can't just consume what we want anymore. I think we need to be more considerate about the world we live in. Like what's the impact from the brands, the fashion brands that we buy the clothes from, and a lot of things that we rarely think about. For example, like how many tons of waters need to produce just as one T-shirt, for example, and so on. And yeah, so I think it's a really important topic for us to discuss.
Yeah.
How about you, Sha?
That is really yeah. I think of the same thing basically. Like I don't know, starting probably like a few years ago. Like I've always loved fashion since I was young, but like only since a few years ago, I actually became more aware of like what the industry is like doing to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like and like a lot of brands are actually not very transparent. I feel like the sustainability movement, all over the world kind of drives more and more brands to be more transparent, like telling us like where do they make the clothes, and like what are the processes that are involved, blah blah blah. And actually, this is very relevant. There is a, what do you call that? Like a organization. I'm trying to find it on on Google right now, but basically it's an Indonesian-based organization, nonprofit, and they advocate for sustainable fashion. And I would find it, and if I could find it, I will like actually include the link in with this video. But like they actually list out all the fun facts about like you know what the
Mm.
fashion industry is like doing directly to the environment, like including how much water is actually used, to the very gallon,
Mhm.
like so you can see comparably like, oh my god, like this is how much they're actually using just to produce our everyday shirt. But like I feel that it's very important to understand, like why is it that like it is quite difficult for us to be sustainable, I guess. Like a lot of people would say like, but I love clothes. Like if I want to be sustainable, like for example, one of which we can do is just don't buy that many clothes, right? But then you're like, but I want to have different types of clothes,
Yeah.
like I don't want to be wearing the same thing all the time, which is understandable. But like, I feel like it also boils down to that concept of trend, right? Like, what is trend? Like, who created this trend, right? And then a lot of people, majority probably would say that, what is popular now, right? Okay, what is
Mhm.
on Instagram? What are the influencers wearing right now? And surprisingly, all of this like has got to do with psychology. Like, I feel like the fast fashion brand, industry that are like rich, I could name them like, let's say Zara or like Mango, Uniqlo.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
they actually know how to use the like how to take advantage of the way people think, and
Mhm.
actually created that false concept of trends. So by doing so, it actually forces people to think that the trend is constantly changing, so you have to just like keep up with the trend, right? So you keep buying stuff from them, and they make it so maybe not like terribly cheap, but like cheap enough such that you can actually afford it. So it's not something that you have to like thing 3 4 times to buy. It's something that like you go to the mall and you're like, oh, this is cute and this is cute. You know what? It's not that bad. I'm just gonna get them. So that's sort of like fast. I guess that's why it's called fast fashion.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like why is it important to us? For me personally, it's just basic. Like if you know what's going on behind the door, I mean, behind the closed door, including how it impacts the environment and like the terrible treatment to the workers. Like again, this is something that we can actually have like a separate even podcast about, like how badly they are treated. Just imagine this: you are underage and you're forced to work because you are in a country that is already struggling, and they exploit you. Like you're struggling working class, you have no other choice but to work min- below minimum wage, and like they don't treat you good. Like people are just treated like basically quote unquote slaves, you know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
just like, do you feel good wearing something that what has it done to people
Mhm.
and the environment? I think it's just as simple as that. And it all comes down to you, right? If you think that it doesn't really affect me, then you will continue that mindset. But
Yeah.
if you like actually stop and think, wait, I don't really want to do that, like that sounds terrible, then you will start to change. I think that's kind of like why is it important to me personally.
I mean, and also I just felt that, I mean, for myself, from a personal experience, I mean, I don't consider myself as someone who likes to shop a lot of clothes, but if I need to buy a new clothes, I always look, especially me, as someone who's living in Singapore, I always look for a convenience. Like, you just want an easy way to actually get the item that you wanted. So it's always so convenient for us to just go to a shopping mall and let's just go to a brand that we're actually most familiar with,
Mhm.
without actually giving a second thought about how these materials are produced, and what the process that goes behind producing that particular dress, or like t-shirt or whatever pieces of clothes that you wanted. So I mean, I guess it's good that if we are more aware about this issue, that maybe the next time we want to buy a clothes, then we need to rethink again. I mean, we need to do a little bit of research about, about this particular companies, where is
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
the items are actually produced. I mean, how are they actually treating the workers producing, like
Right.
I this is very important, because honestly before this I never gave a thought about, you know like the process behind the clothes that I'm wearing right now. I just know that, oh, I like this piece and it's actually affordable, it's readily available. I just bought it over the counter. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That itself is like basically the epitome of fast fashion, right? They
Yeah.
want to give you that convenience. And to be honest with you, like I have like fast fashion pieces in my wardrobe right now. And
Yeah.
it's all because of that. Like it's cheap. That I mean, affordable, I guess not cheap, but like that itself already shows like, they're exploiting that sort of like convenience and like affordability. And it's, to be honest, not really the consumer's fault. The consumer is pretty much the victim here, right? So this big corporations are doing this to us. They are the one that are like actually profiting off this, capitalizing off this. So in a way, it is difficult because we are basically fighting big corps. You know what I mean? How do we do that? It's difficult. Like a lot of people don't have that privilege to actually, take the time to do research or like afford something that is more sustainably made, but then like costs, 5 times more expensive. And
Yeah.
it also kind of like leads to a different point to like, this sort of like elite feeling to sustainability that we have now in the world. Like sustainable life is almost like something that only privileged people can afford, and it's not right. And I feel like it all starts from here, from us just kind of like giving a thought. And then I'm pretty sure there's already a lot of like advocates and organizations that are working towards like making sustainable fashion more accessible, cheaper, not cheaper as in like, um, to the point that, they just want you to keep on buying, but more like make it more reasonable, like it reflects to what I guess, the cost of making it in the first place. Because if you think about it, right? Let's just say one of the brands that I used to like to shop at is Urban Outfitters. They sell extremely overpriced stuff. And then during like some sales season, they cut down up to like 80-90% of the price. And you're like, so the clothes, what is the real value of this clothes? If you can actually cut down to that point. So it
Yeah.
makes you think, right? Like this is just some overpriced shit, to be honest. You know what I mean? So I guess it's, the beginning is just giving it a thought and then finding ways how to make this more affordable. Because to be honest, I am upset about that because I want to be sustainable, but like almost all the boutiques that I want to shop at that are sustainable are like, $500 a piece. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Or like I think in rupiah it's like jutaan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I
Any more
mean,
to add?
I was just gonna ask, like, why do you like urban? Why did you like Urban Outfitters? Just like clothes for babies, I think, because like the size always like this small. It's just like,
Yeah,
it's just tiny piece of cloth.
I
A lot of
agree.
crop top.
Yeah, I
I
know,
mean,
right? Like, shoot. I don't even know. I mean, I don't buy anything from them anymore because for that reason, like I just feel like the clothes are not only, like overpriced, but also I don't know, like the whole sort of like non-inclusivity, like they just kind of like use the same type of models to represent, their clothes, and just like, like there are better brands out there for sure.
I mean, to be honest, I was thinking about it. I mean, it's not like an advantage to fast fashion, because it's the way fast fashion works. Usually, they kind of copy a lot of like the couture, or like big brands like
Mm-hmm.
Balenciaga and other fancy brands,
Yeah.
and they made so cheap or
Mm-hmm.
affordable
Mm-hmm.
in a way. I think it's like, oh, it's kind of nice, like democratization of fashion, I guess, like,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time it's just kind of wrong to copy
Yeah.
copycat a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Okay.
this
Wait, Pete,
fashion
I
I
actually want to comment on that about the affordability. Actually, right, when I every time I try to shop, there are certain brands that, those most common brands that produce mass produce fashion, like
yeah.
fabric. Actually, they try to portray themselves as something that is very cheap, but actually when you look at like the individual piece of clothes, actually when you look at the price tag, it's actually not really cheap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For some reason they just try to make it, they just portray that, when you when you walk in the store, it's like sales everywhere, but actually when you
Mm-hmm.
really analyze the
Yeah.
individual prices, it's actually not as cheap. You can
Yep.
actually,
Yeah.
you can actually go to the more authentic, like a shop that
Mm-hmm.
produce, the
Yeah.
more unique pieces, and then
Mm-hmm.
at almost the same price. And yeah, these brands actually market themselves, the way they produce the clothes is just like a mass produced, like it's
Mm-hmm.
just the same models in every shops, but
Yeah.
the price is actually not necessarily affordable to me. Like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for this kind of style and quality, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's one thing that like I try not to just a little bit more skeptical when buying clothes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the thing though, right? Like I think combining like the two of you sort of points, like um let's say there's a new Balenciaga, whatever, like new design. Oh, so awesome, but it's like super expensive. And then let's say another fast fashion that says, you know what, let's make something like that, but way cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of like tricks people into thinking that I can still wear that Balenciaga, but like, a way cheaper way. I don't know. It's like it sounds really terrible, right? You're like, oh, why do I want to
Mm-hmm.
buy a cheap version of like maybe like a well designed stuff?
Yeah.
But then you're like, at the same time, people fall that for that all the time, and they don't care.
Yeah.
So that the don't care part is the problem here. Like you
Mm-hmm.
probably just
Yeah.
have to start to care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how actually do you describe your style, or like do you follow any fashion trend?
Mm, I don't. Like I'm actually here.
So how do you describe your style?
Like what the hell is this? I don't even know. I mean,
But I can't get Sharon's style. I feel like your style is more. I mean, I feel like you're more like a Japanese kind of style. You're like most
oh, I
like
like
warm,
that.
Yeah.
softer tone kind of.
Uh-huh,
Like,
uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
like that. Um, you know what? I used to follow trends. Like to be honest, I don't. Hmm, did I ever follow trends? Like I was more aware of what trends were. I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's the same for many many people. And when you're younger, you're
Yeah.
just kind of like up to date. Like, oh, this is like popular now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I don't remember doing that after maybe like around university, college years. It's just like number one is like I was just broke. Broke college students. Like you can't really keep up with trends all the time. And at some
Mm-hmm.
point, you're like, I think the beginning of me, like understanding the value of thrift shopping and like vintage clothing, like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of helps me redirect my focus from like okay following what's trendy to like actually understanding what actually looks nice on me. So
Mm-hmm.
even though let's say at some point I think there was like I don't know, some ridiculous style that was like in trend, and now I'm like that is so not nice. And like I was able to tell myself that that is really not a nice style. I just don't really like
Mm-hmm.
it even though everybody was wearing it. So I think yeah, I feel like my style is just number one was money driven, as in like I was
Mm-hmm.
broke, so I just kind
Yeah.
of like bought what I could afford. But at the same time, also I think just um, I don't know. It's almost like a protest for me to say that I don't want to wear anything that is trendy. I know it sounds really cliche and pretentious, but like in a way, I like timeless stuff. I guess like things that
Yeah,
will never be out of trend.
yeah.
What about you?
I think I'm the same. Definitely, I'm not someone that would like to splurge on fashion. I definitely want to look, to look good in my own. I mean, I consider I don't think I look good in just any fashions. For instance, like I don't feel myself looking good in like jeans. There's a trend where people just wear like a high-waisted jeans, this kind of thing, but
Mm,
I just don't feel like I actually look good in it. So I try to modify my fashion style, I mean, to the one that I felt like I look good in.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I try to dress more femininely. Like I've always been like so feminine in terms of my dressings. I mean, as you all know.
mm,
So it's, I mean, not so much like following the trends. Even sometimes my mom said that, why do you actually dress like so matured? You don't really dress like those like youngsters nowadays, like how they dress. I just don't feel like I always look good the way they do. Some of them,
mm,
it's just like your body shape actually probably like reflects that. And another
yeah.
thing, money. I'm okay to spend a little bit of my savings on fashion, but not so much. I still need to
Mm-hmm.
control on that particular thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so long that I feel comfortable in it, it looks good on me. It's more, I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
my way of,
Cool.
yeah,
Right.
I feel like
Yeah.
my.
What about you, Chick? I
So
really, I really think that your style has always been minimalist, but like
Yeah,
I want to know, like, how do you
yeah,
yeah.
describe it?
I mean that I think that's because I mean you guys also experience it. We move a lot, or like to like super. It's not just to different cities, but to different country, and I was
sure.
kind of sick of bringing a lot of stuff with me. And I think a couple of years ago, I think you probably know about this. Like there's this minimalism
Mm-hmm.
starting from Japan, where people just own a couple of stuff, just
Mm-hmm.
only like 5 clothing items and stuff like that. And I was like really inspired by it. And I was also kind of driven by successful people like Steve Jobs, for example, when he said like, like I don't want to think about what to wear in the morning. So he just kind of wear the same thing his whole life. So yeah, I was kind of, so I think that was like kind of what motivates me to have less items and shop less.
Mm,
But at the same time, I kind of, I don't know if I follow the trend. I don't think I am, but because like for example here it's 4 seasons, so I do this, I don't know what is it, a capsule wardrobe where
Mm-hmm.
like um I change my wardrobe when the season's changing. So yeah, I guess that's how I keep my outfit fresh
Mm-hmm.
every couple of months. And I like, I'm kind of getting at that stage where I prefer to buy for quality instead of yeah, so buy quality. So I don't mind buying expensive stuff, for example shoes. Like I like Clarks, or
Mm-hmm.
even because it's summer now, and I used to really hate Birkenstock sandals, and I own one now because it's so comfortable, and I know it's gonna be durable.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm yeah I'm entering that phase at the moment.
For some reason, that
um
sounds so Berlin, like Birkenstock
yeah,
and
I
like
know. So German.
Clarks.
Yeah.
Oh, it is
And
German, huh?
It is, yeah. And I don't quite understand the trend at the moment, especially the chunky sneakers.
I
I
used
don't
to
know if
have
you know.
those.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like
again, I've always loved, some girls that are wearing that look they actually look good wearing that, and then the skinny jeans, and then just like
uh-huh.
oversized sweater. But I've never
Mm-hmm.
looked good in it. It's probably because of my short legs and like a little bit like
But
big
you
hip.
look good in a lot of the things that you wear, like so. What it comes down to is that I think like your style should defines you, right? That's why
Yeah.
following the trend is kind of silly sometimes because like you
Yeah.
don't want to force trend on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm curious, like how do you guys shop for clothes? Like I mean, we already talked about this a little bit, but like I guess I kind of want to like dive into more like how often do you buy clothes and where do you go normally? Um, yeah, so basically we can start there. Like how often do you usually go to shopping and like where do you usually go online versus offline, the mall?
Just
Um,
Okay, let me start. I mean, as I said before, I don't really, I mean, there's no particular time for me to shop for clothes. As and when I need it, I would shop for it. But there's actually a certain times in a month that I felt like, I don't have any new clothes. So I really need something new for
Yeah.
me to
mm,
buy. I love to shop online to a certain extent, but um, you know, the thing that I hate about shopping online is that you can't really try it. Sometimes it looks good. From the model that
Mm-hmm.
the model from the online shop, it
Yeah.
actually looks good, and then you think that it really suits you, but when the item arrives, it's either the quality is not good, the sizes is not good. So I
Mm-hmm.
try not to shop online a lot, even though sometimes online it can be much cheaper. I'd like to go to a physical store to actually shop. Again, I don't really choose a particular time to go shopping. As and when I have a time, I look around the malls, and then I find if there's actually something that I like, then I actually spend money on it. And again, I always look for convenience. I always shop for a clothes that it's easy, in a mall, it's easy to reach. It's easy for me to actually um, you know by train or public transport. I can actually reach the place very easily, close to my working area. But then
Mm-hmm.
again, probably like now that we are actually need to be more aware about the sustainability in fashion, which we still need to think of, we still need to do a little bit of research before we actually buy the articles that we want to buy. Maybe I mean, I believe that there's actually certain brands that actually promote sustainability, I mean fashion sustainability, so they
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can consider to actually look up for these brands instead of just
mhm,
going to the place that you used to go
mhm.
always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um I think that's one thing that I want to learn, and also I want to practice going forward, and especially now during the COVID, during this COVID situation, like most of us don't really go out so much. It's the most that we go out is just once, one of the weekends, once every 1 week. So I don't really
Mm-hmm.
feel the need to buy a lot of clothes right now. So maybe what I can do right now is just to do a little bit more research, and then
Mhm.
when the situation gets better, you can actually start to shop more
Mm-hmm.
sustainably.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
What
This is
about
a
you?
good
I
time to
like,
save money.
Yeah, actually,
exactly.
Mhm.
not about, yeah, it's not, I just really don't feel the need. The more that you stay at home, the more you realize that it's actually good to actually save money on things, and then only buy the things that
Mm-hmm.
you only need. And
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
find that clothes you have enough right now.
Yeah.
uh, there's not much big events, I mean, for the
That's
time.
true.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was looking at pants the other day online and I was like, do I need it? I'm just gonna stay at home with my
Right,
pants.
right.
Who needs new pants?
No.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. But to be honest, I do have a problem with shopping because I feel like I'm a recovered shopaholic, I guess. there's just that kind of satisfaction when you hit that add to cart, or like just to buy stuff like that. It's just I mean it's actually like a thing. I think like when you get a high from
Mm-hmm.
shopping. And but I actually I like to browse online a lot, and actually I sometimes I just add to cart a lot of stuff but end up not buying anything, because like, and then I think again like, I don't need all of this crap in my home. Like I don't have any space anymore. So yeah, I think that's how I control the need to shop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually prefer to focus more on key items. Like I like shoes a lot. I think I have more shoes than clothes, and
Oh.
I also like bags as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I usually shop. I try to at least shop one article per month, and it depending on what I need actually. Like for example, I think coming back, so I was thinking the other day about Uniqlo. I mean,
Mhm.
like you said, Uniqlo it's part of fast fashion, but then like
I love
Uniqlo has,
Uniqlo.
yeah, me too. Like I love their items. It's just like so, they kind of innovative, but at the same
Mhm.
time, sometimes I hate how it's kind of like the new Gap.
Sort
Like
Exactly.
of,
it's
yeah.
It's
right,
you're saying it as it's actually everybody's the public's like fashions.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
is that I felt that even though they're actually mass produced, but they still focus on their quality. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
especially when I travel like to like if I want to travel to like uh like a countries that have like winter, you know, I go to Uniqlo and then I always buy a lot of like the heat tech. I feel like their quality is actually really good and
Mm-hmm.
they actually sell it at such affordable price. So you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
help but to,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
want to go there, and then it's just convenient for you to just go there, just
Yeah.
a couple of, like those sweaters, and then just, you
Yeah.
know, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Like you're set
Mm-hmm.
for your
Yeah.
travel. Yeah.
Agree. I'm also guilty of Uniqlo, to be honest. Like I think, like I understand that it is a part of fast fashion and everything, but like to be honest, it's like my favorite store right now because in terms of quality and price and everything, just kind of like the right amount for me. But
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing that Harini also already mentioned is that way I do it is that okay, I have to buy from them, but like I'll just buy less, or like I let this one piece of clothing last as long
Yeah.
as possible, and once I don't need it
Exactly.
anymore, I can either donate it or sell it to a thrift store. If you keep
Mm-hmm.
if it's a good quality and you can take care of your clothes well, you can
Exactly.
actually resell it. It's actually not very difficult to resell clothes in good
Yeah.
condition. Um, I actually, to be honest, I love fashion. Okay, so like hearing you guys say that, oh, I would, try to like buy one article per month, it's like a dream for me. But I don't do that. I don't do that not because I don't want to. I think it's mostly just like to. I'm actually really good at like not buying stuff because I want to buy a lot of stuff. Like I go online and like put things on my cart all the time, but like I almost never buy them. Like to be honest, the only like the last time I shopped was December 2019,
Wow.
and it's only one thing, and it's only because I had a Christmas party at my company, and I just had to buy something that is more presentable because I have not like oh
Where's your
Ariane
mic?
just left. Do you want to wait for her? Let's wait for
Yeah.
her. Oh my god! But yeah, it's so interesting that um I guess I'm just gonna talk about other things before she comes back. But like
Mm-hmm.
I used to do that. Like I want to buy one thing just because I want to add more to my wardrobe. Just because sometimes I'm bored and going to work. There's that thought inside you is like I want to be presentable. I want to look
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
I want to look good. I don't want to look like, I'm wearing something that looks,
Mm-hmm.
what do you call that? Like, if you
Yeah.
wear clothes way too much, it will look
Mm-hmm.
worn out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
worn down. And I feel like going to work with worn down clothes sometimes make you feel a little insecure. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be presentable, especially when you're
Yeah.
meeting like more important people. But like, yeah, going back to my point, it's just like I just bought that one dress, not even a dress, but like something like that, just because there was like an event, and it's crazy. Like, I'm actually really proud of it because I used to have a problem with shopping as well. Like, um, surprisingly, I had more problem when I wasn't working. Like while I was in college, like I was broke, but then like, you know, I was using as like, I was spending so much money. Like, I imagine that I was already broke, but I still spent so much money. That's probably the reason why I was
Mm-hmm.
always broke, because um, I always wanted to have something new to wear. Like, um, I guess I used to shop a lot at thrift store, not so much now, just because I don't really shop right now. But like thrift shop too, it could be really tricky because I feel like where I used to live, San Francisco, they used to really glorify thrift shopping. Like thrift shop was, like the trend basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of thrift shops actually kind of ride on that wave and also try to capitalize off that and make the stuffs at thrift shop also expensive. So they're not like really, really cheap either. So it's almost like
Mm-hmm.
either you buy something old and like a little bit more worn down for the same price as you going to Uniqlo and buying something that is
Yeah.
new. So it's like, am I really saving money? If you want to really save money, you end up going to like places where people donate money. So it's like the clothes are a little more, I would say, like they're not of variety. They're just like normal clothes that are already secondhand. So it kind of made me feel like I wasn't actually saving much, even though I was shopping at thrift shop. But I feel like the best thing that I'm doing now in terms of sustainability is just like not buying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you know what? I just want to share something. Like, I just felt that, even my mom, actually, she's not someone that likes to, I mean, spend a lot of money on keep buying new things. I mean, this is the kind of thing that she always taught me. And I just realized that she actually has some hand-me-down clothes, like from her,
Mm-hmm.
which I actually still use it until now, and actually the quality is so good. So actually, a quality is actually plays an important. But this
Mm.
clothes has actually been, she wore it when she was a teenager, when she can actually fit that, and then I can actually share you guys what type of the clothes. It just looks like the clothes that would have been sold everywhere nowadays. It just looks like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the model is just, long lasting,
Yeah.
and the material is just looks really good. So imagine if a lot of clothes are actually of that quality. You can actually
Right.
wear, you can actually just, maybe if you don't want to wear it, if you just get bored, you can just keep it for a while, and after that, as and when you just feel like wearing it, you can keep wearing it again. So I think it's really awesome. I just felt.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Anyway.
can't wear my mom's stuff. It's like we have different
Different style.
size. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Different size.
different
But
size.
I guess your mom's time was like pre fast fashion time. That's why like I feel like a lot of the clothes are more maybe like well made
Yeah.
because people like, I mean, the manufacturing like industrial age doesn't really like become big until maybe a past, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, I guess your mom was kind of like during that age, but like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when they were younger, things were just more well made. Should we shift to the next topic? um,
So
Okay.
the next topic will be, to what extent does sustainability matter to you? So what usually affects your buying decision? If anybody would like to share, maybe Sharon or.
mm,
Yeah.
I think I kind of mentioned this before already, but what usually affects my buying decision now is basically well, I guess number one is like whether or not I like it, right? I mean, just to be real, you know, like if I like it, then I would think about buying it. And then after that, I would really make it a habit to go to like their, if it's an online shop, I would like go to their about us page and just kind of
Mhm.
understand their story, you know, like, you know, what are they selling, you know, and then um, also just like, you know, I will judge them based on their transparency as well, because I think um, I don't know, it just kind of gives me like a peace of mind understanding like
Mhm.
how these clothes are made and stuff. But then at the end of the day, it's still also a price for me. So that's why I still go to Uniqlo. I guess that's like one of the things that really, um, you know, I feel like to share you like the story is just like I will go to Uniqlo. I would like pick up like a couple of pieces of clothing, let's say articles of clothing, and I would bring them to the cashier. And I don't know if you noticed this, but like Uniqlo is also kind of trying to push all those like sustainability and like, you know,
Yeah,
doing things for great costs and stuff. So they would put like huge posters behind their cashiers, you know, like, and just like showing like um we're saving this much for this, or like we're donating this to
Mhm.
this. And
yeah,
it kind of gives me that peace of mind that I kind of need. That okay, so me buying this, at least I'm contributing to something, even
yeah,
though, you know, it's just well known for fast fashion big corps to like have so much strategy and like going around
Mhm.
this issue and try to still like have, you know, still make profits with, even with the sustainability what do you call it, like movement sort of pushing back on them. So I think that's really just like what affects my buying decision is like number one style, and then like, you know, their efforts in like
yeah,
becoming more
yeah,
conscious and sustainable, and
Mhm.
then three is
yeah,
just the
yeah.
price. What about you guys?
You-
Me? um, like like I like my style is minimalistic and clean, and it's just sometimes it's a bit specific. It's not just like this top, but it's actually like a crop top. So it's super. Sometimes it's just hard to explain my kind of style, and you know that I only use a couple of colors like black, white, gray, and so I it's so what affects my buying decision is usually whether this item will I wear it a lot, or like
yeah,
will it match with other stuff,
sure.
because like I won't usually wear uh, a lot of patterns, because I know that I won't I only wear it once probably. And like for example, I have batik with me, but I'm too scared to wear it outside sometimes. That's for another reason, for another kind of topic.
Mhm.
But I guess it comes back to like my self consciousness and confidence and so on. I don't necessarily think about like it's so hard for me right now to be so thinking about the environment all the time, to be honest. So like I still buy at, like, for example, H&M or Zara
Yeah,
and so on,
yeah,
because it's what I can afford at the moment. um but I guess I have to be, like, I have to be at peace with it, and knowing that I won't just wear it once or twice.
mm,
I think that's enough for me. um I mean, I'm trying to also buy more local brands. I can't really buy vintage or thrift shopping for some reasons. I don't know. I'm just They are just not really my style, and
Mhm.
I know it's stupid, but I have like hygiene concerns.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, that's I guess how I buy my stuff. Um, what about you, Nate?
yeah. I think the what's influenced my buying decision is just a little bit of combination about like you two. one thing is definitely, I mean, the more you buy clothes, the more you understand what kind of style that fits you best, and also what kind of material that actually you like best. So I guess because there's actually in my younger days, there's actually a time that you actually just want to buy a lot of things just because that you want to spend money, you just want to have anything, a lot of new things to wear. But over time you actually realize that it's only these specific types of clothing that you keep wearing to your office,
Mm-hmm.
go
Mm-hmm.
out, So I feel like I'm getting better at choosing better things, just that spend a specific type of, styles and material that I really, really like and suits me to wear in this kind of, environment that I'm living in. Like
Mm-hmm.
Singapore is probably humid. I wouldn't try to wear, like long sleeves. I'm trying to, I like to wear sleeveless, so it's probably, you adapt, you understand your style better the more you shop.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's probably one good thing. And then another thing is also like what Sharon said, that I really love to shop at the brand that at least have an effort to show that they actually care about more about the environment. Like Uniqlo, I agree that I used to go to Uniqlo Indonesia, and actually they're showing a lot of like a video about how the Uniqlo people, I mean, it's not about Uniqlo as well. We can actually donate clothes to them, and they're actually will bring them to actually the less
Mm-hmm.
fortunate kids, and they actually
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
recycle those clothing to actually
Yes.
donate this for them. So actually it kind of resonates, I mean, in you, like sort of like you appreciate that, even though it's probably just like corporate responsibility, they're just trying to win, but it's
Yeah.
still, still an effort that not a lot of
Mm-hmm.
companies do. You don't really see this kind of video in other brands. So I think that's really one thing that makes you that, oh yes, this is my trusted brands, and you will always
Yeah,
come,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then and also quality is also another one thing. So for instance, like what I told you about Uniqlo, I've actually been using the same piece of winter clothing for every travel for the past 3 years. Probably you just get another extra one or two. So I think that's not only save a lot of money, but actually I'm being more sustainable, rather than you use it and then it, you know
Mm-hmm.
goes bad, and then you just throw it away. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, I don't really throw away clothes anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like, if it's still, if I don't really wear it anymore, if it's like getting too small, the size and what,
Mm-hmm.
I actually try to collect it, and I actually try, it's either I bring back home to my home country and then I actually donate it, or you just,
Mm-hmm.
even in your countries, definitely there's actually an organization where you can actually donate your unwanted, clothes,
Mm-hmm.
still,
Mm-hmm.
they're still in good condition, that you can actually donate it. So I think it's definitely one thing that influence your buying decision, quality, and also whether it's actually suits your style, and
Mm-hmm.
the material, whether it's actually suits in the environment that you're living
Mm-hmm.
in, and also
Yeah.
you're buying from a company that actually more like you
Right.
trust. Yeah,
Right.
that's
I agree with that because like I realize so Devin, my husband, he likes to shop from like he I think sustainability and like ethic is like number one on his
Mhm.
list like
Yeah.
whenever it comes
Mhm.
to shopping, and he always tries to shop from places that very explicitly say that this is our mission, like.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the website, I'm like, I don't like any of these clothes, like they're just not my style, so it's like, as you just want to be real and kind of like you want to be able to kind of combine everything, right? Hopefully one day, hopefully fashion is just like more sustainable in all direction, so that there are more choices for people, pricing
Mm-hmm.
wise, from maybe I
Yeah.
would say like super high quality, super like what do you call it, like high craftsmanship, like people like making it with hands, to like something that is like a little more closer to mass produced, but like not, they still pay their workers fairly, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
use like sustainable materials. I mean, it can be achieved. It's just that people will have to like sacrifice a little bit of that like profit. Like they can't think of
Mm-hmm.
profit all the time. So
Yeah.
I feel like we can find a middle ground, hopefully in the future, right? So yeah, I just find that like it's so unfair that just because we want to be sustainable and ethical, and then suddenly we just like have very small like range of choices. Like
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, we feel guilty. I feel like that is wrong. Sustainability and sustainable lifestyle should be accessible to everybody. You know, no matter how much
Yeah,
you're making or like
exactly.
where you live and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess like it would be very useful to share with people, you know, like a little bit of tips and tricks. If any of you have like, how do you, I guess like maybe like share one or two tips that you've been doing, things that you've been doing to like be able to be more sustainable and mindful when it comes to like shopping and like, or just keeping up with your fashion needs, you know. Um,
Mm, for me, I think, yeah, you can also try my way of this capsule wardrobe, like just rotate a couple of items per month or like whatever you like. And also, um, actually, I wanted to add something to the Steve Jobs inspired wardrobe. It's also kind of one of my laziness. So um, I used to live in a student apartment, and I kind of have to pay for just a couple of euros just for to use the washing machine, and I'm so lazy to just go downstairs and do my laundry. So that's why I also keep my colors as minimum as possible. It should be in one color or like whatever. So that's how I maintain my sustainable life, and also to don't forget to wash, if you use washing machine, to wash it cold, like 30 degrees Celsius or even colder, because it saves a lot of electricity and stuff like that. Um, Another thing is, yeah, try to use, like it's not a bad thing if you shop at um, fast fashion brands. I do it like Zara and H&M and so on, but just try to wear it as much as possible. Think about the what is it, the duration you're gonna wear them, if it's just for like one time, or if you know that this trend is gonna last for a couple of months, then just
Mm.
don't buy it if
mhm,
possible.
mhm,
And also, like, there are a lot of brands, even like, I want to say fast fashion, like for example Uniqlo, with their CSR efforts, but also, for example, yeah, try to do more research about the brands that you like. I know that the other brand is, I think, Tom's. So
Mhm.
the shoes brand, they
mhm,
donate, yeah, also shoes to underserved kids and whatnot. But also, yeah, do more research on, like, for example, that H&M has their conscious
right.
department category behind it, and Zara as well. But it's not really green and eco-friendly, to be honest,
Mhm.
if you look more into that. So yeah.
Mm.
What about you, Nate? Any tips?
Okay, I think the first thing is one thing that I learned, especially nowadays, is just to first thing is to just question your shopping habit. Like, again, if you really don't need
Mhm.
to buy new clothes, just try to stick with the current ones that you have, and you can always mix and match. You'll be surprised at, you just sometimes you pair these jeans with another tops, and it actually looks like it's a new sets
Mhm.
of outfits. You,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I think it's just one thing that it not only it saves your money, but actually you really don't need to buy new coats unnecessarily. So I think it's one of the things that I'm trying to learn. I mean, I've been doing it for the past few months. Like, I don't really go out and shop for new clothes. In fact, I haven't been buying new clothes for the past 3 months actually. So it's a win situation for me, I guess.
Mhm.
And perhaps another thing is, if you really do need to buy new clothes, I mean, definitely you need to, I used to have a thinking that once you wear a dress to a party, then this dress cannot be worn to another party. But it's
Mm-hmm.
actually it's not the case, you know. You can always
Mm-hmm.
match it with another jewelry or another style, just but it
Mhm.
just looks as good, you know. So and also maybe when you're shopping, like try to bring your own bag. Like you don't always you don't necessarily need to like a new plastic bag when you're
Yeah,
shopping. Just bring
that's
your
true.
own like tote bag of which you don't really need it, you know, need a bag. So I mean that's one thing about delivery though, you know, sometimes when you're actually shopping online, the packaging that they use to send is actually a lot of
Mhm.
waste. They use the boxes inside, they still use like a plastic, so it's actually got a lot of unnecessary packaging. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always good to actually, you know, to just go to the store and you just get a piece of clothing that you want
Mhm.
and then you put it in your bag. So that's one thing. And actually, a lot of shops in Singapore have actually been practicing that kind of thing. Even if they give um like a paper bag, they always put it like, oh no, you know, this paper bag is actually fully recyclable. So it's
Mhm.
actually it kind of it makes you feel better in terms of shopping in this particular
Yeah.
shop. And another thing that I've always practiced is also I try to clear my wardrobe as you know, regularly. Like let's say, I mean, I've always, you know, go back to my home country every, I mean I used to like every month for perhaps. So I always bring the clothes that I don't really need, that I feel like I'm not gonna wear it. It's still in good condition but I'm not gonna wear it. So I always try to donate to whatever organization is that, like it's yeah. So I mean there's definitely less fortunate people that really, or kids that really needs the clothes. So I regularly clear out my wardrobe. There's definitely certain clothes that has been sitting on my wardrobe unused. So if I know that I'm not going to use it in the next couple of months, I'm just going to throw it, and not throw
Mhm.
it but actually donate it. So as and when I buy new clothes, so that you know, I mean when you regularly clear your wardrobes means that you are actually taking off those clothes that you actually don't really need and you actually donate to the other people. You know, you just like
Mhm.
keep the cycle going. You can buy new clothes
Yeah.
but at the same time you are actually giving away your old clothes. Yeah, I mean
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
what I can think of. Mm.
that is really good. I think pretty much whatever you guys have been doing, I also have been trying to do as
Yeah,
well. I think if we try to really understand, like this problem is not like like a one person problem. Like, yeah,
yeah,
sure, like you've been doing this, but like it will not necessarily drive them out of business or like change the way they run their business or anything because they're huge, and we're just one person. But like it's always important to start with us. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
exactly.
us inspiring other people, and
Yeah.
because like just think about it, like I feel I just received a an email from Muji USA, and I think Muji USA is pretty much saying that they're closing down their stores in the US, which is really sad because I love Muji.
No. Yeah.
But like just like I mean, they're not like one of those shops that I actually want to be out of business. I mean, that sounds really bad, but like um, it's just like the power of consuming. Like the consumers really drive their success. So it all starts from there. It's again, I think the word that I use is very similar to like every other like huge, well established system is like dismantling, right? It's a very difficult thing to do, and it all starts from like just changing the way we view our consuming habit, right? So I think what we can do is exactly what you guys have been, have been doing, and also just like be while once you do your research you'll understand more. And I think for me, like number one is just buy less. Like do you really need all these clothes? Like
Mhm.
keeping up with trends that are actually just an illusion is just really for me, I find it like very what is the word, like what is the right word to describe it? It's like you don't want to fulfill that illusion, like just to kind of like
Mhm.
you know make you feel good, but just like for a very short period of time. Before you know it, you just have to jump. Like, and then, like doing that again and again is not sustainable for your life. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
a sustainable life. So I think in general, just like for me, what I want to see from people, I guess, is like like there are influencers out there that are already trying to promote sustainable living and like shop more consciously, which is really awesome because these people have so much influence on people, therefore the name influencer. So like I just feel like yeah, I guess um pause, whenever you're shopping. Don't think, like just think about like why are you shopping for these, like, um and then like going back to your capsule idea, just like if I'm buying this, so what can I get rid from my current wardrobe that I'm no longer using? And then like, again, what Haryani said also, like, so these clothes that I'm no longer using, I can donate them. So there's like that sort of like pattern that we can kind of
Yeah.
start over. And then over time it will be less and less things circulating. Before you know it, everybody's just
Yeah.
consuming less, which is pretty much the goal of it all. And I don't know. I feel like a utopian like future is going to be like some system that could fully, like, I don't know, somehow, what is the word, like recycle all this like
Yeah.
textile to be actual like reuse, like, renewable energy that is like clean and like, you know create net zero carbon footprints, and like all of this is like the utopian future. I'm pretty sure scientists have already been working on that, like in conjunction, just like basically, okay, I know that, this consuming thing will probably not going to end in the next like 50, maybe 100 years. So I think it's only useful for us to come up with a system scientifically to, be able to like get rid of all this waste and create something that is
Mhm.
useful and not hurting the earth, right? And I think there are already like a couple of very cool like startup here that is focused on that, right? Like basically taking any sort of waste. I don't know how it works, but like, they're focusing on that. I think that's what they're doing. What we can do on like a personal level is just like
Mhm.
do your research. Once you know what they're
Yeah.
doing behind the closed door, it's just kind of difficult for us to be like okay about it. And yeah, I think it's not that hard. Everybody can do it. You just have to like start from zero. I mean, start from here. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's always good to start from individual because you never know. I mean, you
Yeah.
may think that one person cannot make any there, cannot contribute with anything, but if actually there's actually 1 million people think the
Mhm.
same way, the situation will
Exactly.
be different.
Exactly. I mean, Yanni, how many followers do you have? Like, I feel like I think you mentioned this before, like outside podcast, but like, um, you talk about like a brand of shampoo, and like a lot of people start using the shampoo, right?
Yeah,
But
I
like,
mean, just
that
I
power,
feel like
that
it's
power of
just
influencing.
yeah, a part influence. But again, I mean, one of part of the reason why they're actually following you is also because they're actually having the same problem. So you need to identify. I mean, if you want to create, you want to change something, you need to address. You need to know what kind of the problems that people are having, like before
Yeah.
you actually recommend something, and then they actually follow your. For instance, that the one that
Mhm.
I'm using, like when I introduced friends for a shampoo for like hair loss shampoo, because I realized that a lot of women at our age are actually suffering from a lot of hair loss. So when you actually recommend this kind of products, then they will actually, start to believe in whatever you say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, well, not in whatever you say, but in the things that you recommend.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well,
Ooh, I
I
guess.
mean, do you guys feel inspired?
I do actually, I do.
Of course.
um,
Um, that's it for today. Don't forget to
yeah.
read Karen's article,
Oh
Coast
yeah, I did write something about this.
Yeah.
about
Um,
fast fashion and local brands and why you should buy local.
yeah, support local. We could I feel like one of the most interesting takeaway from this that I probably think we should maybe create a podcast out of it is just like the privilege and sustainability, and like,
Mm-hmm.
how I don't know, like what you think about it, your perspective on it. It's like, it seems like, we want to be sustainable, but it, people just make it so hard for us to do so in a lot of ways. So I feel like it's a very interesting topic that hopefully we can discuss more, maybe in our articles or like in our podcasts in the future. So thanks, guys, for listening, whoever you are out there.
Yes.
um, okay, well, Should we say goodbye? Do we have a goodbye, like a proper goodbye, so that it's not abruptly like just bye and
Follow our Instagram. Go
Yeah.
to our website. Subscribe
Wait,
to our
our social
YouTube.
media strategist, please say something.
Let me see something.
Wait, it's you. Jenny, it's you.
It's you.
I mean, yeah, please do follow our Instagram at You Taste Like Sunshine Does. It's just as simple as that. And we'll definitely I mean we'll try to post more on the things that we will discuss every week in our podcast, and also the topic that we'll write in our articles. We'll try to post it more regularly every week. And also definitely you should check out, I mean, for more details you should check out our websites, and you should read what do we actually have to say in greater details about I mean it's just like wide ranging topics from
Hmm.
fashion, travel, foods, and you name it. I think we'll try to cover as much as, I mean, as many topics that, I mean, applicable to us in our daily lives.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, let's say goodbye so that it's like not an awkward stop. It's like
Bye.
bye. Thanks,
Bye.
guys. See you maybe next time next week.
Bye.
Oh shit.